Hey guys, what's up? I'm David DeMuzio,
I'm Steve Cook.
and this is Hair Loss Hope. And today I wanted to answer a question from ML. And I don't know what ML's real name is, but I see him around the channel a good amount. Seems like a really nice guy. And his comment or question was, David, you the man. I think you should do a video about not being in denial about hair loss. It could help a lot of young men. Was born with a high hairline. Oh, I think I missed. Oh, I was born with a high hairline, and whenever I asked loved ones about my hair, they always tell me it's not an issue. Now, here I am at like Norwood 4. Had I got this 5 years ago, I could have saved a good amount of hair. I'm still optimistic I will come out with a good head of hair after hair transplant surgery or multiple surgeries, but I could have saved a lot of money had I been on finasteride 5 years ago. Too many men rely on opinions of loved ones who don't want to hurt their feelings. This is so true. And it's something that I noticed with a lot of guys because guys we're supposed to just take it. We're supposed to just age gracefully, whether it's graceful looking or not, and then just end up kind of how we are. And it's funny because I run into a lot of guys like this because I guess I've sort of taken it upon myself to help people, and like it's one of my passions in life, like it is Steve. It's like something like I almost feel like it's like this personal responsibility of mine to save guys from going bald. And so there's a guy that I was just thinking about the other day. I played a writer's round. It was like this writer, we all, who write songs, we all perform them, in Nashville. And so there was this guy who was a couple writers next to me, named Joe. We'll just call him Joe. And seemed like such a nice guy, but I could tell he was like in his early 20s, but like looked older than that. And he was wearing a hat, on stage, but then we followed each other on Instagram, and I noticed a couple of pictures on Instagram where he didn't have a hat. Most pictures he did have a hat, but a couple of pictures where he didn't have a hat, he was like really starting to go bald. His hairline was starting to disappear. And I thought, wow, like this is a guy, if this guy would just jump on finasteride or that pill that I'm taking, the oral minoxidil and finasteride pill, like he could probably save a lot. And he's trying to become a songwriter and like professional musician. So his looks are a very important part of who he is. And so this could really help this guy's career. And so I wrote him, even though he hadn't asked me about his hair or anything like that, or hadn't mentioned it. I just wrote him and I was like, hey man, I've got this channel, Hair Loss Hope. I've been working with hair loss, and it's something I experienced when I was really young. And like, I think if you caught your hair loss now and started doing something with it, and I could get you on this pill, like I think it will bring back a lot of what you've got. And I think you'd like be better off, basically. And now it's kind of very assuming for me to just randomly write a guy and tell him that, but I know that there's a lot of guys that are afraid to talk about it, or like they don't know who to talk to. And I thought, at the chance that this guy is one of those guys, let me reach out to him. And so he wrote me back and was just like, let me see if I actually got his response here. Very nice meeting you last night as well, man. And as of now, I'm just riding with what I've got and hoping it will last a while. LOL. I wrote back and I was like, okay, cool. Like, I just wanted to reach out. I kind of see him, I think, as one of those guys who is in denial. Even the fact that he's saying, like, I hope that it will last a while, is saying to me that he does hope that he's going to keep his hair. He wants his hair. If he's like, oh, no, man, I don't care at all. Like, I don't need hair or something like that. Or if he like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm hoping it'll last a while. But the thing is, it's not going to last a while. He's got another 2 to 3 years, I would say. And then he's just going to totally be a bald guy. And it's only going to be hat pictures from now on because of that denial type situation. What are your thoughts on this?
This is something I've been working on for 30 years. How do you walk up to someone, in my situation, our situation, a guy talking to a guy, and say, with all due respect, sir, you're losing your hair.
Yeah.
And I can help you.
And
It's
I can
very
help you.
difficult. I thought about maybe hiring like beautiful young ladies to go up to these guys and say, you're really handsome, but you might look better with hair. Now, I mean, it's serious. I've always wanted to help people and not have no idea how to approach them. If I get their phone number and now text them, I can help your hair loss. My advice to those that are asking the question about why are my family members telling me you just deal with it? You're a man, you'll be okay. Or you look fine, you'll be great with or without hair. You've got a great shaped head, just shave your head and don't worry about it. The only advice I can give you is my middle name is kind of worst case scenario. So you go up to those friends of yours that are very competitive and just say, hey, you think I'm losing my hair? And they'll be like, yeah, you're losing your hair. They're tough. I mean, in my world, it was always, I hung out with a bunch of Italian guys in New Jersey and they had like pompadour hairdos. And they're like, that guy's losing his hair. And I knew right away.
Yeah, just ask us if you're losing your hair. We will tell you if we think you're losing your hair. Funny enough, a lot of guys write me who aren't really losing their hair. I look at it and I'm like, I don't think you are losing your hair. But it's so funny how there's this run the gamut where there's some guys who are like almost bald and they're like, no, I'm just gonna roll with what I've got. Like, I think it'll last a little while. And there's other dudes who like have perfect hairlines and they're like, I think I'm going bald,
It really depends. And that's a great point. It just depends on how it affects you personally. And those guys, by the way, that have like massive heads of hair, they have great heads of hair. I'm jealous of their hair. Even David, who looks fantastic, jealous of their hair. Those are those guys that are like, oh my God, like that's my identity and I have this amazing head of hair and I need to make sure that I hold on to it through my whole life. Well, you are a great candidate to jump on this finasteride, or what we've been talking about in a lot of videos, because that's your insurance policy for your hair.
ML was saying that he was asking his family members, like, am I losing my hair? Like, how does my hair look? How does my hairline look? I think if you're at the point mentally where you are saying that, even if you just naturally have a high hairline, I think if you're at the point where you're already sort of questioning it yourself, that's the point where you need to talk to an expert and you need to get help and you need to start getting on the right preventative hair loss treatments and things like that. And even if you really aren't losing your hair and you just have a high hairline, well, that's the best case scenario, really. If you're not actually having any hair loss because maybe you just do have a high hairline. And in that case, you're probably a great surgical candidate, right? Because you're not really losing your hair. You just have a high hairline. You know what? Why not have the hairline of your dreams for the rest of your life?
Yeah, that's true. And it depends on your age. You also want to think about if you're going to do that. And we've had videos about that hairline lowering, that you want to lock in the rest of that hair. So, even if you're destined to lose your hair at 35 and you're only 20 or 25, that won't happen. So that's something that's important. Yeah, I would tell you that the medicine is your insurance policy, but the asking family members and friends and all that, if you're someone who's very cognizant of what's happening with your hair, that if you don't take the medication, there's one other thing you can do, and we haven't talked about this yet, is you can kind of do what they do to old guys with prostate cancer issues, wait and see. They're really old and they shouldn't have surgery because they're really old and maybe the cancer isn't that aggressive, so they just kind of like check them every 6 months. So what you do is you find a doctor, like one of our best doctors, and we're a big fan of Dr. McGrath. He has a whole team that's got this online system that they'll take your photos, and then they'll come after you at 6 months, they'll come after you at 1 year, they'll come after you in between, and you'll be able to see side by side in a controlled environment. Yep. So even if you're someone that has no hair loss at all, but you're watching this channel and you're freaking out because your dad's bald, well then don't just do anything. Don't just not do anything. Definitely get a wait and see approach so that you can monitor your photos.
Most guys actually are in denial who are going bald. So it is a kind of a tough place to be mentally at this point. But the best thing you can do is do something, if you're questioning it at all. We'll see you soon.